Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well this morning. I'm so thankful for another day. And I want to welcome you to the Freedom Forum. This is a place for moms to find success strategies to help them to be the very best they can be so they can help their students win. And so I come to share with you guys the struggles that I've had in my own life uh, in the hopes that, because we've raised three children, in the hopes that you would be able to see that others have struggled as you're struggling and that you can be successful as a mom in raising those children. My name is Anita Gibson. I'm a coach, speaker, and educational strategist, and an author of the book Starfinder. And so this morning, I want to ask the question, give up my rights for my children? And I know the first thing you guys are thinking is, what do you mean give up my rights for my children? I do that all the time. But listen, there are times in life as a parent when sacrifice is in order. When sacrifice is truly what is needed to get your child to the next level. And I know some of you are saying, well, I'm already doing that. I'm losing sleep. I changed my career because, I'm sacrificing for my children. I'm not getting the money that, I wanted to get. So I'm already sacrificing. What are you talking about? Well, this morning, I'm coming to knock on the door of that sacrifice that you know that God has called you to, but you said, nope, not doing that. That's too much. Let me share a story with you. So our middle daughter struggled with reading when she was growing up. And just her self-esteem was really low. She's 8, maybe 9 years old, still struggling with reading. And it just created some issues for her. And so my husband and I, began to think about what can we do to help this child, to understand how awesome she is. Just because she struggles with her academics doesn't mean that she's not smart and that she's not amazing. But how can we help her see how amazing she really is? And so she absolutely loved animals. Absolutely loved animals. And she absolutely loved hamsters. So this chick right here, I was terrified of rodents. I was so afraid of rodents that one year we had a mouse in the house and I went off. And I gave my husband an ultimatum. If he didn't catch that mouse that night, I was leaving. I was going to go stay in a hotel, and that was that. Because I was just terrified of mice. And so, this is funny now, it wasn't then. He called the church and put it on the prayer line. My wife is going to leave me if I don't get this mouse. And they gave him some suggestions for what to do, how to catch the mouse, and I'm sitting up. I'm not even asleep at this point because it's like, we're going to have to do something about this mouse. And all of a sudden, I hear this click. And so my husband goes and he looks, and sure enough, that mouse was caught. Thank God I did not leave that night. I realized how immature that was, but that's where I was. I have to be honest. And so I'm telling you that story just so you'll understand the sacrifice, what it really cost me. And so this daughter decides that she wants hamsters. Now, not only does she want a hamster, she wants hamsters, and she wants a male and a female. So they can have babies. I'm flipping out. I'm saying, no, it's not happening. But in the back of my brain, I could hear God saying, but what if that's going to help her find out who she is? What if that's going to help build her esteem? What if that's going to help her stand out in a way that's unique for her? in this house where, she has her sister who's doing everything she touches turns golden, and she's and this child is that middle child, and all the struggles sometimes the middle child can have. Hey y'all, good to see you this morning. And so, it's kind of like, so what we'll do is will be the only one in the house that can have animals. And she became like the animal doctor in the neighborhood. When a bird would fall out of a tree or something, they would bring that animal, that little birdie, to Danielle. Or they found a turtle, they bring it to us and we take it back to the nature center. Thank you guys for the hearts, for the likes. And so those hamsters had babies. Oh my God. I had 12, 13 hamsters in my house. It was the most uncomfortable experience ever. I was always wondering, are they going to get out? And then I'm leaving if they do. But I gave up my rights because I knew this child needed something to help her esteem. She needed something that was just hers, something where she could shine. And so I just prayed a lot. And she did really well. She did so well with raising the hamsters. Her and her dad would take the babies to the pet store and they would trade them for food and bedding. And then she decided to raise rabbits. And the same thing happened. Her hands were just so fruitful in that thing. I mean, these babies, they were having litters of 13, 14, 15 rabbits, which she would then sell. And in time, I actually got over my fear of rodents. But the greater gift, the blessing in this was that she began to find out how amazing she truly was. Okay, yeah, I'm struggling with my reading right now, but it doesn't mean I'm not smart. I just, I'm learning at a different pace. But the fact that she could connect with those rabbits and those hamsters, she got to reading stuff because she wanted to know more about them and how could she train them up better and how could she take care of them and what happens when they get sick. And so she found herself reading more because now she had a subject where she wanted to know. And so it became a positive way to help her with that reading. Would any of that have happened if mom had not given up her rights? Nope. And I wonder where would that dear darling child be if she had not had the opportunity to find out what some of her gifts and strengths are. So I want to encourage you, that thing that your child probably needs, but it means extra time, extra money. It might mean having to let go of something else. That thing? Yeah, that thing. I want you to know that thing may be the key to their destiny. It may be the key to their purpose. It may be their key to their next level of success. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid that you're going to get lost in the mix, that your giving up your rights is going to create, an issue for you. Because in the midst of all that, God, He healed my fear. He blessed my child. And now she is doing fantastically well. She not only the struggle that she experienced with her academics, she uses that now as a middle and high school math and science teacher. Woo! Yes, she was smart. She just struggled with reading. But once we figured it out and we got some of that positive stuff going on and we helped her to be able to shine in some areas, she began to find her place and to find out who she was. And so I'm encouraging you guys, if God is calling you and you've been saying no, whatever that is, it might even be, I need you to change your career so that you're more available to be home. I need you to work part-time so that you can make sure when the kids are here, you're able to do their homework. It might be as simple as, I need you every day when they come home with their work to sit at the table with them, to connect, to help them get it done and not be up cooking and cleaning. And I know we got to get all that stuff done. And I'm talking about that little whisper that's in your head that God is saying, you really need to do that. It might be homeschool. You might be thinking, oh my God, I can't take my child's whole education into my hands. I can't do that. Yes, you can. And if God is calling you to it, you not only will do it, you will do it well. Because when he calls you to something, he gives you all the resources you need in order to do it well. And so, as I said, even if it's homeschool, he's got the resources all around you. But he's whispering in your ear because that's the sacrifice your child needs to become what God has intended for her. Is it scary sometimes? Yeah. Do you feel like I've already given up all that I am? God's asking for more? I get that. I feel like that sometimes too. But he's never going to ask you for more than you can bear. And when you're willing to make the sacrifice, there's always blessings that come to you. I did not want to homeschool my kids, as an example. And I thought it was such a sacrifice, to go from a full-time good government job to having to work part-time so I could be available to help those children. I thought it was the greatest sacrifice ever. And God, you just got to know I have just given my very, very all because I'm a businesswoman and I want to be out there in the world and I'm here with these children. Until they graduated from school, the last one in 2008. And when I looked at who they had become, and when I saw that they were credits to society, that they had integrity, they loved people, most of all, they loved God. They were responsible, they were disciplined. Were they perfect? No. But neither am I. When I saw all of that, I realized that what I thought was a sacrifice was a privilege. That God trusted me to lay my life down just for a little while so that these 3 human beings could receive the support, the encouragement that they needed to become what they needed to become. And that what you guys are seeing in me now, being able to coach and speak and own my own businesses, all that stuff, it was tracking a little bit while I was raising them. I was speaking here and there and doing lots of coaching in my part-time job, in my full-time job, in my part-time job. But once I finished with the assignment that he had with my children, he just opened up doors. And the things that I thought I had given up, the things I thought I had sacrificed, the things I thought that I will never get a chance to do again, he's given me a chance to do those things now. And my strength is renewed. I don't feel like I'm a 57-year-old woman. I feel like I'm like 20 again. And I realized I didn't miss anything. In fact, I'm better. I'm better because of what I learned. I'm better because of what I sacrificed. I'm better because of what I went through. And so the person that I am now, I would not have become if I had not been willing to make the sacrifice. And because I trusted God, he took the sacrifice and he turned it into a blessing for me. And as a mom, to be able to look at my children and to see them flourishing, to know that they love God, that they love people, that they have integrity, that they're responsible people, that means more to me than if I ever become famous or if my business blows up, or those things to me are like gravy. The thing that means the most is that those children are flourishing because I took the time to make the sacrifice that was necessary. There were days I felt like I couldn't make it. There were days I tried to figure out how could I take my life and not let anybody know what really happened. There were days when I wonder, why am I here? This all seems so pointless. Nobody cares about me. I'm always caring for everybody else. Yeah. But as I began to realize that the person I needed to trust was God, and that God was going to help me to do what he assigned me to, and that if I didn't get a pat on the back from my kids, from my family, they thought I was crazy. I'm homeschooling. What is that? If I didn't get a pat on the back from my neighbors, if I didn't get a pat on the back from anyone, that it wasn't the pat on the back that was needed. It was the trust that what God told me to do, it was going to be a blessing. Even though I couldn't see it and I couldn't understand it and I couldn't figure it out, and I wondered if what I was doing was worthwhile. I'm standing here as a woman who did that, who took that step. And I'm standing here on the other side now, and I'm calling back to you to know that whatever it is, whatever you're in the midst of, whatever the struggle is, don't give up. If you know God has called you to do it, he's going to bless it and he's going to bless you. I pray that you would, in the future, that you would be able to see what it's going to be. And it's going to be good if you could just hold on. If you can just hold out. There are so many moms, they gave up because they did not know. They did not understand that God was with them, that he was not going to leave them. The difficulties that come into our lives are God's opportunity to show us who he can be for us. We don't need to get that from someone else. It's nice. It's nice when your husband tells you good things. You're lovely, you're beautiful. It's nice when the kids say, I love you, mommy. Thank you. It's nice. But whether they say it or not, I had to get to the place where my life was completely and fully in God's hands, and his well done, which he said every morning I woke up, which he says to you every morning you wake up. His mercies are new every morning. God saying, well done. You did good, my child. Okay, there's some things, you need to work on, but keep going. You don't have to be perfect in this thing. Can you imagine that God knows every dark place in us? He's not disillusioned with us because he had no illusions to start off with. He knows us. And yet he gave us to those children. As broken, as messed up as we are, he still gave us to them. So he knows that we can accomplish the task with the brokenness, with the messed upness, with the depression, with the pain. We can still be successful. We may limp through life with those things. Some of us may figure it out, but our kids are dependent on us. We are the ones they need. And I'm here today to tell you that you can do this. And you can do it well. So that thing that God is knocking on the door for, that one, say yes. And you will be blessed. All right, guys. I love you. Have a great day.